Well, welcome everybody. My name is Julian. I am the managing director and leader at Ghost, and we have Ghost Stories episode 4, where we have podcast series with all of our members. And one of my favorite members is here today by the name Amanda. So, I'm very excited to have you on. A very big beam of energy.
Hello. He said favorite, by the way.
Yes. You're like our highest energy member by far. So I'm always excited to talk to you because I don't know where it's gonna go. In a good
I'm
way.
excited. Okay, that's good. I hope.
Awesome. So I guess I love to kick it off because I think it's like an important way to start things when we're talking about getting to know you, which is how did all this start for you? Like, was it a creator that inspired you? Was it a game that you just love streaming? I think everybody approaches it from a different way. What does it look like for you?
Mine was definitely an interesting way because it all started when I was 13 years old. And I
Okay.
actually made a YouTube channel. I played this game called Free Realms back in the day, like 2009. It was like a game made by Sony, like an MRPG game. And I loved it. And it was like this huge, like, piece of my life. And I ended up like finding this niche group on YouTube where they were making like music videos out of the game, where they were
Mhm.
just getting copyright music and uploading it by just screen recording their gameplay. And that just kind of got me into like at least the video editing, the content creation realm. But I could never see myself like being in front of a camera. Did not have the confidence at all to do that. But it all stemmed from just me having like this big fear of just talking in front of people. I was always afraid of it. And past people in my life always said I wasn't really good at talking to people. So I
Mhm.
wanted to prove them wrong by getting a degree in communications. So I own that now. But the thing is that even having a communication degree, it did not like stop me from being afraid of talking to people. So I turned to streaming to like actually like get out of that bubble, to like push myself outside that comfort zone that I was really confined in. And I mean, one thing led to another. Everything just, I had that skill of video editing that I loved. And then now finding like a passion to being energetic on the internet and just being myself. It just like everything just tied together, and it helped me build like this self-confidence that I never knew I had. And that's where I kind of am led to here today.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I feel like something that's really unique about you is how like confident you are about who you are. And that doesn't come easily. As somebody that's been a creator for a really long time, it's actually really hard to get in front of the camera and be like very yourself. You always are like maybe taking something from somebody else, or you're seeing how somebody else does things and maybe do it. But I feel like ever since I met you, and it seems like before you were just like, or maybe not, and I'd love to know that, like, was it a journey for you, or did you come out the gate like hot, like just owning
No,
it?
I was not like this at all when I first started. Like I was like really like timid. I was really like afraid of being loud. I ended up okay, so I guess like I had an ex that was really like not the nicest, and he always told me I was like too loud and too annoying. So I always was like more like quiet about it. And funny enough, I have like this redemption on my channel where it says too loud, which I will get to that because obviously I still left it there. But the fact is that they always were like, they were mentally like pushing me down, telling me I shouldn't be like a loud and chaotic person until I ended that relationship and I moved back to my family's house. And it was the best thing I ever did. And by the way, ladies, never settle. Never settle. I ended up finding my own, I found a better relationship with myself, and I ended up just pushing towards content creation. And what helped me was that my family was actually so supportive, and that's where I was like more in my comfort zone, was in my family's home. And I didn't feel too like embarrassed to be in my natural self around them when it came to streaming. So I started being like more energetic, and I was more excited. I'm like a really competitive person too when it comes to games, and I play a lot of Mario Kart, and I was getting really riled up playing that game, and I was getting more loud. I was being more energetic, and then like people started flocking to that and started telling me like, oh my God, I like your energy. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. And eventually it just like made me start understanding, oh, I gravitate towards the people that are just like me when I do that. And that's when it started clicking that I didn't need to like not be myself anymore. I mean, sorry, I want to be myself and not
Yeah.
be not something that I'm not. And so eventually I started being more energetic, more chaotic. My videos showed that, but I started allowing my community to roast me because that was like this inside thing that I enjoyed. I love myself. I've been feeling more confident about myself. And so one of my things that I have is self-love, but I'm also able to laugh at myself. So that's
Yeah.
why I allowed it. So
Yeah.
eventually it led to that confident growth. And I even left that too loud category on my stream, just like kind of like a, if you're telling me I'm too loud, well, I can get louder. And so if anyone redeems it, I get louder. So it sounds like this rewarding thing that I have.
I love that. No, I mean it's really valuable in this day of age to have self-love in like a really comparative environment, right? Where you're always like kind of like, okay, well, who's doing what? What are they wearing? What do they look like? What do they have? And especially in the stream dynamic, I think there's a lot to that. And I think that that's one of your most valuable attributes as a person, even within Ghost, is that I feel like that shines through in the relationships that you cultivate in the team. So I do like really appreciate it. I have a question I think is important, and I think it's important not just to, you know, the men and women audience, but anybody, is what are some tips you can give to people who are creators that want to feel more confident being themselves on camera, or just feel better about themselves when loading up the stream, which confidence is a big thing. I think for viewers, they can feel the confidence. They can feel when a streamer feels timid or they're not exactly completely bought into what they're doing. You know, what are some things that helped you?
I listened to this TikTok audio when I first started, and it said, "Let them cringe," because at the end of the day, the people that are gonna cringe at you are gonna be the people that are gonna forget about you the next day, but the people that like you are the ones that are gonna stay. So
Mm,
I kept that in my head for so long because it's more of a reminder that I'm not really pleasing other people, but I'm only trying to mainly put out the content that I enjoy and that makes me happy, that makes
yeah,
me laugh. And it stuck to me that if I enjoy the content that I put out, that I feel happy about the stuff that I put out, it made me feel more confident in myself doing that.
yeah,
So not really settling on like, oh, if I have like a group or like a person that comes in that just wants to like, am I allowed to curse?
yeah, yeah, of
Uh,
course.
like that wants to shit talk me,
Yeah,
like they're not gonna be there the next day. So
yeah,
it's like I move on past that.
yeah,
So the confidence just grows is that when there's gonna be people that are gonna be there to encourage you, I have just stuck around and just kept it that way. I've been so happy with myself. And the more content I put out that's something I'm proud of, it built my confidence.
yeah, absolutely. No, it's 100% valuable to like be able to take the noise out of the room, because
Mhm.
we live in like such an open platform. Anybody could just come across your page and decide to like be an asshole. Like
Mhm.
it's just the truth. And I think like part of the content creator journey for me was understanding like there's nothing preventing that person from being a jerk. Like, and you're, especially the more you put yourself out there, which you're going to do more and more often, like the more you're actually leaving yourself susceptible to negative comments. But your ability to filter is actually a really healthy sign, and it's not easy, like,
It's
but it's a
not.
it's a really healthy sign of being able to continue creating, right? Because in the first few years of my creating journey, like a negative comment about a video could just, it would just kill my vibe. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you experience the same thing where it's like you put out a
Oh,
video and then one of the first comments is just somebody being an asshole, right? And it's like I just spent 8 hours editing this, whatever it may have taken. And I think it's really important that creators kind of take that mentality, which isn't an easy one. I think it's one that you practice over time. It's one of those
yes.
things that you kind of accumulate through the journey. I wish it was like a light switch where you just didn't give a fuck anymore
It
about
felt
any.
like that to me though. Like
Yeah,
eventually I just stopped really caring so much.
yeah,
But there also is times that I do take negative feedback, but I take it as fair criticism because like if I live in a world where I'm just like, obviously I'm the funniest person, and like I put out something that is like maybe not as funny, and people are like, I can learn. I've learned to just take that criticism and I've learned to adapt into something better.
Yeah.
Because if I have that ego that like, oh, I mean, obviously it's their
Yeah.
own fault. It's just that's not the reality of things. Some people are there being critical, but there's also people out there that's just not nice.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like sometimes like the line gets skewed because some streamers get in such like a negative mindset about like those engagements that they see like regular constructive feedback as like somebody attacking them, which I think is like why it's so important to like really like practice the art of like really digesting it appropriately. But that's awesome. I really think that's like valuable information. Is there things that you did, you content creation is takes a lot of time. Not only do you stream, but you post on TikTok, you do on YouTube. Is there things that you do for yourself that help incorporate balance to help you stay sane? Because like I know when I did it and it wasn't healthy, at least at the start, I just went all in. It's just like your whole life you succumb to it. But I think like it's really good to figure out ways and hear from you things that you did for yourself that ultimately helped you live more of like a balanced life.
Oh, absolutely. I think, yeah, for sure. What came for me to help me stay sane is being a meathead. I love going to the gym. I have built, and I'm like so happy with like my progress because I've also, with when it comes to fitness, comparison is the theft of joy. And
Yep.
I think that also, of course, lands into the content creation world. If you're comparing yourself to others, you're going to always forget about like all the successful things that you have ever done. So I think gymming has helped me like really stick to that motto, and it's helped me definitely stay sane. And I don't participate in drama. Instead of like getting mad at someone, I just take my frustration out at the gym, and it's way more much a healthier outlet. I can guarantee you guys like definitely doing that. It's like 10 out of 10. But gym has been definitely one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I've lost about 45 pounds when I first started my content creation, and it all started during COVID. I started running, and that helped me lose a lot of weight. I lost that weight because I was just doing solely cardio, which
Yeah.
won't recommend
Yeah,
because
it's tough.
a lot of blisters on my toes. But I ended up also going into a gym later on when I started actually like hardcoring my content creation. And that's when I started feeling way more energetic. I'm a very, very energetic person. And I think that helps a lot when it came to my strength that I put into my body.
Yeah.
And it's helped me do like long streams, even just have the motivation to even like spend time editing. Because even if I'm like editing, I'm like, oh, I'm like a little tired. What's something I could do? Oh, let me go to the gym, and it like helps put my mind like pumping again, and then I can come back and like even like edit more, or even better, I would either start editing and I would tell myself, okay, my reward if I finish this edit is going to the gym. And it's like now become like this rewarding factor. It was the best thing for me. I think like the health and the streaming content really does come hand in hand, but definitely gymming has been my sane space. It's my happy place, and I reward myself a lot by going there.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember we talked about the gym a lot because when you joined, actually, I was in the middle of my like when I started really going to the gym. As you know, Jess used to do Olympic weightlifting, and I like was just all in. And I lost just about the same amount of weight, and it was like the first time ever in my life that I put myself first in that environment. And I always used to tell myself like I'm so tired, like going to gym. If I go to gym, I'm gonna be even more exhausted. How am I gonna have the energy? And you discover that it's like literally the opposite. Like when you hit the gym and you have a great workout and you give yourself that win, it almost propels you to feel like you could do like anything else throughout the day.
Yes.
And so I feel like that was like something that a lot of people like kind of they misrepresent it as like, oh, I'm gonna go work out. I'm not gonna want to do anything else. But it's like those little wins I think really give you the motivation to do other things. I respect you for running. The most I've ever ran was a 5K. and I trained a few months for it because most of my weight loss came from actually weightlifting. That,
It's
as
hard.
you know, and it's more like cardio level weightlifting. But when you're running on the cement, and I actually on the last, I had a long talk with Artemis about this in her episode. It's tough, and like I felt like I wanted to die after that 5K, not because I was struggling cardio wise actually at that time, but the impact of my legs on the ground is actually like it's hard.
There's certain ways to run, and a lot of
Yeah.
people don't know about that. There's like, you have to have certain shoes. You have
Yep.
to be sure to put all your support on the balls of your feet and not just like solely
Yep.
on the flat, and then also like pace yourself.
Yeah.
It's really hard, but it's also
Yeah.
like I am, like I mentioned, I'm so competitive, but I'm also competitive with myself. So I have like these like an app called Strava, and Strava tells you like whenever you have like a faster pace than your last race, and then it like says like, oh, this is your personal best, like, and then it just keeps reminding you. It's like games in a way if you think about it. It's really fun, and it helps you just like even get better. And also like, obviously, I feel like when you run, the first time you run is not gonna be fun. It's not
Yeah,
fun for
it's not.
anybody. But when you do it and eventually you hit that runner's high, it's just the best. Because this is gonna sound insane because it is. Don't recommend it. But one time when I was like pretty sad during a breakup, like past breakup, when I moved out, I ran a half marathon and then I felt better.
I mean,
Four,
hey.
14 miles.
Was it like you just got up and just like went and hit a marathon, or was it planned? No, you just went and
But I
ran.
was training. Like I was
Oh, okay,
training
I was
to
like,
try eventually do a half marathon. But like I was like, I got nothing to do today. Like, what's something I could clear my mind? And
I,
it was like, let me spend like 4 to 5 hours just running. And
that's a
I did.
beast right there.
It hurt, but
Yeah,
it was like, holy shit. Like,
yeah,
it felt like the best thing in the whole world. Like, no one could take that away from me. Like, I get to say that after a really ugly breakup, you know what I did? I went and ran a half marathon. And like that's something that's more rewarding than that other thing that happened. I talk
yeah,
about that rather
yeah.
than the other thing.
That is like honestly, that's the first time I've ever heard that in my life. Not in a bad way. That is just so cool. I mean, I give you all your credit as somebody that's tried to distance run, and it's not that I've failed. It just takes so much. It takes a lot, and I learned that like you go to the stores, like the running stores, and they're like fitting you for the shoe, and like everything matters. Actually, more technique than anything else, which is actually really cool. I actually do agree with you as somebody that plays so many games, the gamification of like hitting PRs or doing better than yourself, it actually like that competitiveness that resided in me from like playing Call of Duty or any competitive game kind of came through in that, especially in like the weightlifting dynamic where it's all about like pushing yourself to like the next point.
Mhm.
Um, but no, I that's awesome. I feel like that balance part is so important. Now, before we go deep into the gaming stuff and like streaming and everything else, I want to kind of bring it back and ask you, who was Manda trying to be before this? What was your like goal before you were like, you know what, I'm gonna stream?
A mechanical engineer.
Okay. What about it was fun for you? Like what interested you?
So I went to an all girls school, and it was like a college preparatory school. And my entire school life, from like middle school all the way to high school, it was just solely on like going to college. You got to find a career that will get you lots of money. But I also found a love and passion for mathematics, and I still have a love and passion for mathematics. It is
See
actually, I
right
find
there.
it's hand in hand though with when it comes to editing, because I edit on Adobe After Effects because I'm absolutely crazy. But
Mhm.
when it comes to Adobe After Effects, I find it thrilling because it has like keyframes, it has like equations, it has like graphs and stuff like that. And I'm like able to like understand what like my video is gonna look like by just even looking at these numbers and all that stuff. So I was actually going to be an engineer, and I love mathematics. I even, when I was in high school, in middle school, I for my summer, I went to math camp, and someone actually called me a nerd at math camp before.
Yeah, you
And
might be a nerd, honestly.
I love math. I was very proficient in statistics. And
That is impressive.
I love statistics because I love the study of numbers, which eventually it kind of made sense why I ended up like in the content creation world, because I love analyzing numbers and the reasoning why they are, which comes in hand with trends. It comes hand in hand with your audience, your demographics.
Yeah.
So engineering, why mechanical engineering? I like to build stuff. I wanted to build a bridge at one point. I thought it was fun. Part of the mathematic camps was like we built stuff out of toothpicks and marshmallows, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I want to do this forever. And of course, it wasn't like that, because the first semester of my engineering course, I found out just not what I wanted to do. Not at all. So I switched to mathematics because I was like, oh, I could be a math teacher. And I was on that path. I was like, okay, this is fun. I did like all the math classes, but then eventually my university, I went to the University of Texas at San Antonio. They eventually opened up a program called communications with a concentration in digital media. And I was like, stop. Like, wait, I can like make a job out of video editing, because remember, I was like editing when I was
Yeah.
like 13. I like loved it. And I was like, oh, but I also like growth. I love social media. I loved like YouTube. I loved Instagram Reels. Cause back in the day, like when I was 16, that sounds crazy saying that. But like when I was like 2018, Instagram didn't have reels. They had like just like the Instagram TV. And I was just uploading like fan videos of like TV shows that I liked on there. And I was growing an audience. So I was already like so fascinated with like the growth of numbers.
Yeah.
So that's why I was
It's
like,
really
oh,
interesting.
it
But
is.
this is a perfect conversation because we couldn't be more opposite. I hate math. Math
Why
was like
not?
I just like so I wanted to be I was in school for pre-med when I went, and one of the big reasons I just it's not that I didn't understand, I was just frustrated by it. Like I was just frustrated by the process of like higher level chemistry math, like calculus level math. It's like I think it's like the practicality of it, which is like I feel like if I said that to somebody, you like it does have a place. Like that's what you
Mhm.
would tell me because it does. And but like in practice in everyday life, I was like struggling to understand its relevance and like really build that up for me. And it's hard. Like I
Mhm.
was super good at almost every subject but math. I did like do really well in AP calculus, but I hated like every second of it. And it's just like it's tough, honestly. It's funny to encounter somebody that loves math because I honestly have it in a minute, and every time I'm like low key hating because like I low key wish I could be like you and not hate the dang thing. But it's a tough genre. I mean, it's really cool that you wanted to be an engineer and like also like a math teacher. Was there like any part of like you being a social person, was it also just not just about like the love for math, but was like influencing kids or just having opportunity to help in that dynamic?
My mom was a ESL teacher. She taught people that came from different countries how to speak English. My mom's like very fluent in Spanish.
Okay.
And my mom, she was the one that like really pushed me into like the education realm. She was the one that got me into that college preparatory school. And my mom was like always my biggest cheerleader when it came to like education. And so my mom being a teacher, she was the one that influenced me on like, oh, I mean, okay, but to be fair, my mom she found out that she was not a big fan of kids by being a teacher, because kids are a little mean. But
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I mean, like mathematics is fun. I feel like I'm cool. I feel like kids will like me. And so I was like, oh, I could be a teacher. And I like math, and I get to talk about math for like the rest of my life. And I get the summer breaks. I mean, like it was like there were so many factors that came from it. But yeah, my mom was like the biggest influencer for me on that direction of like wanting to be like an impact in the education system.
Yeah.
But of course, my course turned a different path, because when I went to communication, I actually struggled a lot with that because it involved English, and I'm not good at writing or for eating actually. And so it was definitely like more of a struggle for me, but the career path ended up in a great way because I was like an intern at
Mhm.
like a social media job. I was a graphic designer for a magazine company. I also became a social media manager for several companies. Eventually led me to like, oh, well, all that stuff that I learned, let me just do it for myself. Because at the time I was streaming, practicing communication. And then I was
Yeah.
like implementing those jobs within that Twitch career. And then just
Mhm.
one thing led to another. It's just like my career path for Twitch just took off that way.
Yeah. Now that makes me curious because understanding that your mom had a really big influence in you and your career choice. You said that your mom was super supportive. What was that conversation like? Of like, hey, mom, like, yeah, this is cool, but I'm gonna be a Twitch streamer actually.
My mom one time told me, I tuned into your stream, Manda, and I was surprised how funny you were. I was like, I'm your daughter. How did you not know I was funny? I'm always funny. I'm the funniest person ever. And when she told me that, I think like, so my mom, like, I always showed her when I was a kid. I like always showed her like these video edits that I did during that free roams era. And then I showed her videos of like when I was, on like Instagram, like editing like just random TV shows, and then eventually going to school for everything that I was doing. She was just like type shit, Amanda. Like that's awesome. And I ended up starting to stream. Well, of course, like all my other career paths, it was like graphic design, social media. She was just like, oh, okay, this all makes sense. And then I started doing it for myself. And she was like, asking me questions just like as far as like how do you do it, like how is it like to like have like all that knowledge and just like work out, because like she was like really like she was impressed by me and I was like yeah. And she brags about me a lot, so does my dad. And it's really cool that just having family that like that supports you. My mom posted like this really funny picture of me on Facebook with her to her family of me dressing up as Dr. Eggman, and I had
Yep.
like a bald cap on and the glasses, and I was wearing the robe, and I was just going like screaming. And she just took a screenshot of the screen of the Twitch chat, and she goes, "My daughter's so funny," and it's just like no context at all. But
Yeah.
she's been a big supporter. My family both have, and yeah, they definitely like to brag about me. My mom tells me all the time when she's at work, she's like, I have like so many of my coworkers that always ask like what you do for a living. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice, mom. And the
Yeah.
same thing with my dad.
That's awesome. No, I honestly I can resonate a lot. My mom was super empowering too. She was like, screw it. Like I still remember like the conversation with her because I was going to NYU at the time for business, and I was like, you know what, I just want to do it. I want to try it. And at the time, I was like a leader of an organization called Obey Alliance, and I had owned it as well. And I remember I thought she was gonna like freak out because all my life I wanted to go to NYU, and I was like, that was my goal. And she worked at NYU, so I actually went for free. So it was like the ultimate
Oh,
setup. Yeah, it was the ultimate setup, like dream school free.
how is
And
that?
I
How's that like?
yeah, it was good when I was there. It wasn't good when you got to it.
Fair school.
Yeah, and I still remember she was like, "Okay, do it. Let's do it." And I think like that, I appreciate and really like value that. It had a really big part of why I think I've done what I've done in my life, and I feel like it's probably a big part of what you've done so far. Is just you feel so empowered when you have those people behind you. I think like understanding the other dynamic of that, where I've had conversations where a lot of people they had to actually just like rely on themselves. And it's not to say that neither you or I could have done it on our own if we had to, but like that extra mile or that extra push, like really just like it sets the stage for you almost. Like they're
It
your
does.
biggest fan.
My mom is Latina though. And like there's like one thing, my mom is honest. And she has had her fair like things to say about me. And like, you know, the colored hair, like having like pink hair and now purple hair. She also tried telling me, like, Manda, like you're really loud. Like you're like ear piercing. I was like, Mom, but that's my brand. And she goes, okay. Because I was living in her house. So she heard it. She heard it all. But
Yeah, no, yeah, that's That's some brutal honesty. What was
Luckiness.
it? Oh, was it like a really cool moment to be able to be like, "Hey, like I'm actually doing this full time and it's working out for me"?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was really cool because I was like, well, I was actually still living with my family, and my family
Mhm.
was the one that like I was like, okay, I could go full time because I have a place where my parents are letting me stay. I'm able to get on my feet again. And I was like, okay, but and I also see like I was being realistic. I was like, okay, the only reason why I'm doing it is because there's a decent income in this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I see the growth and I don't see me stopping in this. So that's why I was like, okay, that's why I was gonna do it. So I wasn't just pulling the trigger, like saying, like, okay, I'm quitting my full-time job just to go
Yeah.
full-time streaming. But like when I saw that momentum and when I was making more than my full-time job on the other side, I was like, and I started feeling better putting my work into the streaming career than the other job. I was like, okay, this is when I get to do it. But yes, it felt so liberating. I was like, oh, I make my own schedule, which I still am not great at, but I was doing my best to like being my own businesswoman, and it was really liberating. And it felt nice because being like your own video editor, sorry, editing for other people, making graphics for other people, making social media posts for other people, building websites for other people, doing what like branding for other people and marketing. It felt nice to say, "Oh, I could do it for me." Being a
Absolutely.
video editor sucks, by the way, for
Yeah.
other people because they tell you what they want and then you send the video out to them and they're like, that is not at all what I want. And they're going to change up like every other thing. Like, be nice to video editors. They deserve it. Same thing with graphic designers because
Yeah.
they go through too much.
Yeah. One of my best friends is actually a video editor. He's been video editing for a really long time, and I feel bad because sometimes like I'll tag him for ghost stuff, and it's like I feel bad because I like want to. I hear the way he talks about like the other people that request work from him and give him edits. Like sometimes he'll go through like 5 or 7 like chain iterations of a video, and so
Yes.
like hey, his name's Keena. I'm like Keena, like can you like change this? And I just know like he's like hating me but not wanting to hate me. No, I have a lot of respect from creatives too. Like when I was 13, I was making really terrible Cinema 4D intros on YouTube. I think like something I always talk about with the past episodes too is like how many skills you actually develop in the process of being a creator, which is really cool. And it seems like you were actually practicing those skills in other environments and you just took them straight into your content creation,
Yes.
which is actually really cool.
Saves you a
Um,
lot of money
it does. No, I
and
was gonna say,
time.
yeah. Yeah, it must have saved you quite a difference because I think that's like one of the challenges when you want to be a creator, you want to upload TikToks, you want to do all these things, and actually the best thing you, in my opinion, you could probably do is apply yourself to learn how to do that because it's expensive to do it
It
the
is.
other way. And unless you're like at that point where you're actually like that time could help you grow elsewhere, I think it's actually more valuable to just do it yourself and like learn that about your content. You know, I would love to know from you, how
Right.
long did it take you to get to the point where you were full time from streaming
Oh.
your butt off, right? Like, what was that journey like? Was it a few years? Was it fast for you?
It was fast when I moved out.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was streaming for like a year at my old place, but it was like on and off because I did have a job. I was working at HEB as a
Love
in-store
HEB.
shopper. Yeah. But and also during the pandemic. So
Oh,
I was a
that's
hero.
interesting.
I was a hero. I
Actual
like
hero.
I actually was ripping toilet paper out of other people's hands.
Oh my
No, I just kidding. No, I was kidding. But I was shopping during the pandemic. So it was like a lot and it was really stressful because it's just like you're shopping for a huge quantity of people and
Yeah.
people are like wanting certain things and things are not in stock. And then you have to make those awkward calls like, hey, I know you just ordered only toilet paper. Just a heads up, like we don't have any toilet paper. And then they start screaming at you, telling you like what are they supposed to wipe their ass with now? And just don't know what to say. But yeah, I was doing that while before I went full time, and it took like about a year. And I actually have a few people in my community that are still part of my community that used to be my old coworkers because I was
Really? That's so
very
cool.
annoying. I was very annoying.
Oh,
I was like,
why?
Why?
Why? Yeah.
Why? Hello. Um, I was telling them, I was like, follow me on twitch.tv/QueenManda.
I wanted to clarify that was the reason you were annoying. I
I
want to
was
say it.
exactly, I'm literally the same
Self-promoting.
person at work. But I was
Self-promoting at
doing
work
that.
is crazy tech,
I
but
was
it
like,
worked.
I'm shameless. But I was doing that. A lot of my friends still support me, and they were biggest supporter. Oh look, Paige, yeah, her. She's my coworker. And
See, hey, it
yeah,
worked. She's still here.
yeah.
Must not have been that annoying.
But I was doing that. And yeah, some people came from my community, and I was like posting, like, I was like live on Twitch on my personal account, and then I was like, oh wait, this is probably annoying because probably not a lot of people like wanted to see that. And so that's when I made my other Instagram account, that it's QueenManda. And I was just posting like, just selfies, like, hey, I'm live. That's like my designated place for like stream stuff. That's where I post all my stories that I was live. And eventually I started doing my own graphics. It was really nice because After Effects skills and graphic design skills. I also was making my own stingers, my own animations. I drew all my emotes, and I was like the full package. Like if someone wanted to hire me, I was actually doing that.
Yeah,
But I wasn't doing fair prices. I think I was like doing like $15. I even like did stuff for free for friends that were also streamers.
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, I was like just doing it just to get my foot in the door. Eventually I started doing like more video edits where my communities were roasting me, and
Yep.
took
Yeah,
off.
those popped off. I remember the one that, I mean, I'll just say it here, but the one about like the dicks one, like just like pops up out of nowhere. Like I remember that clip popped off, did it not?
He's
Like
referring to the sound alerts, by the way.
yeah, the sound alerts.
Sound
Yeah, no, no, whoa, whoa.
alerts.
Like no, because you
Sound-
have this sound alerts that like come up. Okay, see, I can't with you.
Clarification. He was talking about sound
Thanks,
alerts.
Manda.
And
I,
what? You're the one that said
I
it. Dicks popped
it's your
up.
shit. It's not my fault you have dicks as a sound alert. That's your shit.
But yeah, I
That
made
is
lots of
your
videos of
shit.
that. And then like a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, oh my god!" You know what's crazy is because like people were starting to refer me as a dick girl, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." But
Pause.
like, yeah. So that
See,
was
you're getting
like,
more sus than me.
but it was like that was my content. It was like the roast and the sound alert. So both of those
Yeah.
did pop off. And what's crazy is that about content creation, if something pops off, I recommend you pop off with something that you could definitely recreate, because that was something that I could definitely recreate. There was so many roasts. I mean, I'm still doing it now. That was like 3 years ago. And then I also have sound alerts that are also popping up, but there's like different animations now that my
Yeah.
community interacts with me. And it's so fun. It's so fun because it's like
Yeah.
it's not the same. Nothing's ever the same.
Yeah.
And that's when it did take off. It was definitely more the roast first, because the sound alerts did eventually do it. I went full time before I was in partner. Oh my god, what did I just say? I went full time before I even became partner.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it was like that's where I was
Interesting.
like, okay, it was like the growth was there. And then when I went to TwitchCon at 2022, that's when I became partner. Like I
Okay.
walked in as an affiliate and I left as partner,
That's
which
awesome,
is cool.
actually. What would you say to us people who want to be creators that have to kind of stay the course, right? Like they're balancing what you had to balance, which is like a full-time job, but they want to
Mhm.
be a creator and maybe it's at first it's slow. Like what tips would you give them to really staying true to what they want to do?
Be patient with yourself, because nobody is going to see the success right off the bat. And a
Yep.
lot of people give up like literally right off the rip. It's like, I don't have that many viewers. I don't want to stay consistent with video editing. And it's like, well, duh, like you're
Yeah.
not going to see that right off the bat. You got to be consistent with it. And that's why I'm just saying you got to be really patient with it. And if you see something that's doing a lot better than the other stuff you're posting, well, kind of see what you can do to replicate that. Because
Yeah.
that's also another thing that analytics, paying attention to all your socials is going to be so important. And don't expect that a streaming platform is going to be the only sole thing that's going to help you grow. You
Hmm.
got to post everywhere. At least that's where it is now, because I know like in older times, it wasn't like that. Like
Yeah.
streams were a lot better. Collaborations are good. But stay true to yourself. If you enjoy your certain style, definitely stick with it. I changed my style several times though. So I'm probably a bad example of that, but I recommend just staying consistent and being patient with yourself is going to be the motivation to help you definitely get your brand out there.
Yeah, patience is key. What was the best platform for you that helped you
TikTok,
grow? Yeah, of course.
TikTok,
Yeah. TikTok. Yeah.
TikTok likes me.
That's awesome. What was it about the platform that you think just lended it to be so much more advantageous than maybe like an Instagram, which I know you did too, and YouTube?
Yes. TikTok had a very like there is something special TikTok does have with their algorithm.
Mhm.
And a lot of creators can probably say to that because
Yep.
it's like pretty it's not easy, but it you will definitely have more of a reach of branding if you post your content over there and
Yeah.
be sure to like I mean I'm probably going to be not like the most common person that's probably going to say this, but I utilize hashtags and I utilize trending sounds.
Yep.
Some other creators will probably be like, no, don't use trending sounds or use hashtags. It's like everybody's path is always going to be different. And so I like TikTok because it helped me grow. I was very consistent with I was like the owner of Love Me Go or Love Me So. It was like this song that was like super high beat and super like happy. And I
Mhm.
always use that song right before sorry, on the background of all my rows.
Oh,
It was
okay.
it like that's
Yeah.
what took it off for me. And then I also was using appropriate hashtags like hashtag roast me. And that's what
Yeah.
helped me like stay consistent. And people were like, oh my God, I came from TikTok from your roast. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much that. Yeah, it was definitely being consistent on that platform and grinding hours of editing.
Yeah, no, TikTok is I think it's like the ultra platform. Like I even recommend it for businesses because it's like
Mhm.
it is there's no faster scaling. There's no platform and even Instagram Reels, I've done some testing. It actually isn't as discovery like first as TikTok is. Like TikTok, you could literally make an account right now, post the TikTok and you have a chance.
Of
Like
getting
a pretty
viral.
good chance of going viral or at least getting a few thousand views. Whereas
Instagram is weird.
Instagram, it's weird. I used to say it had that same virality, but I actually think you need some type of base there or you
Mhm.
don't really get it, at least from what I've seen. So I always recommend creators like post their content here. And I think what like something that you touched on that I think you do well is that you identified something that helped you grow, but you also were doing it with intention. Whereas I think some people take their content and just like plaster a clip. Like maybe it's out of like whatever it may be, but like that intention does matter at the end of the day. So you're not just repasting your content and really like choosing something that you want to kind of identify with. Like you did the roasting and you ran with it. You had that first video and you just ran, which is kind of par for the course for people that experience like rapid growth in platforms. Like maybe,
Mhm.
that new Schedule One game is out where you're literally like a drug dealer. Like you love that game, make TikToks on that game and you have one pop off, like don't stop. Like
Yeah.
really compound it together. No, that was some great advice. We have a good amount of people in here, so I want to open it up to questions. So if you have questions for either of us or both of us, just type them down in the chat and we will answer each of them. I know we started a few late, so we'll go for around 10 minutes and then we will wrap it up. But would love to get some questions in the chat and we will answer accordingly.
Good
Unless,
interview. I like these questions. They were great.
yeah. Honestly, I just go off the dome, so I'm kind of just like conversation, trying to feel it out. Okay, how did you feel comfortable talking to strangers?
Ah. It took me some time because I did not like when I was starting off by saying like, "Oh, I'm a Twitch streamer." When people always ask me like what my job was, it took me a while to get there because I do a little bit of IRL streaming now,
Yeah,
and I kept the same mentality from like just just like in streaming. It's just like there's gonna be people that are gonna find you weird,
Yeah.
and the people are gonna just look at you funny, and that's what they do in public too. So I'm like, at the end of the day, they don't know me. They're not gonna think about me. Maybe they will. They'll be like, "There's this crazy lady that was like screaming at the Riverwalk the other day," and I think it's an interesting story, you know. Like, and
Yeah.
then maybe like one day they'll find like a funny video of me screaming on the Riverwalk, and they're like, "Oh, you
That's
know,
the
I I stopped caring too much about what people think about me, and I think like that's helped me. So when it first turned into streaming, when I was doing being more comfortable with myself, it translated me to doing that in public speaking, because I've done events where like I went to Atlanta and I actually spoke in front of female students that were interested in being in the gaming space, and like what would be the career options now, because now there are so much like careers now in the gaming space. So it was like really comfortable talking about things that I do in front of
Yeah.
other people now, because it's like, oh my God, this is something I'm passionate about. I love this. So I stopped caring too much
Yeah.
about people's opinion about me, and I started being like true to myself.
Yeah. I remember because we spoke on a panel together and then we also did separate panels. But I remember being curious about how you would be on a panel. And then
I was scared.
I was like, wait a minute, it's literally her. And it's like I feel like the kids like loved that energy because you were just like so bright. Whereas I feel like even it's tough. It's scary at first, like kind of like, but once you start yapping, it's like you start flowing and then you like really own it.
It's
No,
fun.
that's awesome. And I'm really proud of your ability to put yourself out there. I could never like stream in a public place. I feel like that's out of my comfort zone. So it takes like a lot of confidence. So kudos
Did you
to
see
you.
the TikTok I did where I was screaming at the people in a boat at the
Yes.
Riverwalk? Okay. I was making my friends so uncomfy. But it was
uh,
fun.
okay. What's your favorite game right now?
Oh, I really love God of War. But right now I'm playing Red Dead Redemption. I can't say like right now it's like I'm like up there, but it's getting there because the story seems very rich. But God of War is like my one of my top, and Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna put God of War a little bit above Zelda because it was that good.
Yeah. No, God of War is actually one of my favorite games of all time. So
Daddy
that's
Kratos.
yeah, that game is amazing.
Oh,
Amazing storytelling too. So what's your favorite game of all time? Just real quickly.
probably Zelda, but I want to put Free Realms up there because that was a
Okay.
game that had a chokehold on me for like a long time. And when it was gone, I was really sad. Really
I
sad.
actually didn't. I have to look into this game. I never heard it. Like, so it's an
Not a lot of people.
MMORPG.
You probably seen commercials of it.
Hmm.
Like it was like all over. But they were like all over like kids channels.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was like this game that Sony made. It's an MMO, and it's basically it's like you're a character. You can literally choose like any like job that you want. You can be a brawler, you could be a ninja, you could be a chef, a pet
That
trainer.
sounds fun.
It was really fun, yes, and it was also very toxic, but it was very fun. And I enjoyed that game a lot. That's actually where I met some of my mods, and they came back into my life. So it's like this whole full circle, but it's up there because it has
Now
so
I
much
have to
memories.
ask before I get more questions. 'Cause now I'm keen. What was toxic about this game? It sounds so like it sounds so wholesome. Like we're all being.
There were scammers. There were scammers. I got scammed before out of these really rare sunglasses that I really
Oh
liked,
no.
and it really made me sad. And then there was card games, and then like people in these card games were like sabotaging your gameplay. It was like so bad. My sunglasses, Jordan, my sunglasses.
It
I
sounds like
traded.
really traumatic for you, actually.
It is. I actually got hacked. That was the first time I got hacked, and someone stole my rare clothes that they're not available in the game anymore. And then she sold it for actual money. And this was like when I was like
Really?
14. So I was like,
Dang. That is so unlucky.
It was unlucky. But it's like, life lesson. No, I'm never gonna give out my
Life
password.
lesson not to get hacked. Yeah, it does
Oh,
sound
we're
like RuneScape.
it was
I mean,
very
I was curious because I'm like a World of Warcraft head. Like I love that game. So I've never heard of this game, but it's in the same category. So I was
yeah.
just curious.
It was a bunch of freaking teenagers just being nasty to each other. It was mean. And
Sounds
don't get me
brutal.
started on the editing community. The editing space on free roams, also a little toxic. I said it. Cancel me.
They might cancel you.
I don't care.
um,
It was pretty bad. It was bad, but it was
I feel like we
fun.
have to dive into that at some point if we do another one of these. Because now I'm just way too intrigued.
The
Um,
drama with free roams.
so, do you have a favorite Disney movie or character?
Disney movie? Not
No.
really. I guess.
What a
Wait.
favorite childhood movie then? Because there's another question that answers that. Ask that.
Uh, I'm not much of a movie person. Um,
You never watched like a movie and like as a kid that you're like, I love that movie. I feel like you watch no movies. Let's be real, right?
I would. Oh, the SpongeBob movie. How about that?
Okay, that's fair. Nanda, what were you doing?
I was playing free rounds. That was the best time of my life. Oh, my favorite childhood show, Ed, Ed and Eddie. That one.
That's a good one.
That was a good show. That damn realm game. It's free realms. Free realms, not the realm game. The free realms. There's a difference. You
That
wouldn't
is,
get
you
it.
were gaming then. How much time do you have on that game? Like,
Oh God, probably like I remember it was like my every day. It was my after school activity. I just like came home and like I got on the game and I played it for so long. Like think of Rennie like playing World of Warcraft. That's like me, but like when I was
yeah,
younger.
Rennie games. I play a WoW. Like Rennie like plays WoW.
Rennie is wow.
Yeah, I have 13,000 hours on World of Warcraft, and I think she has more than me, like way more than me. But
I
she loves streaming it, so like good for her. I honestly like I envy the fact that she streams that game because that's so fun.
yes.
Like it took her a lot of time because I've actually been friends with her for a long time before she was in Ghost. And she had been
Wow.
streaming that forever, like, and finally like built a community, and like that's so cool. It's hard to build in that game. It's not a really popular game. Like so
If
getting
Free
your
Realms was here, it's over.
we
It's
need the
over. I'm top streamer right here in Free Realms.
I believe
So
you
put
honestly.
away.
What is your favorite theme park ride?
The Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. I love roller coaster information, by the way. Like I have done so much intensive research on like roller coaster brands and like the manufacturers and like all the roller coaster brands that actually have like the most death counts. Like it's fascinating. I'm a Pisces, by the way.
Nice.
I'm a Pisces. But like nice. But I yeah, the Iron Rattler because why? The Iron Rattler used to be the Rattler back in before it got upgraded in 2019. And when the Iron Rattler before it came to when the Rattler before it came to Iron Rattler, the Rattler was known as one of the tallest wooden roller coasters in Texas. But the problem was that the steep incline when it goes downwards, it actually messed up so many people's backs. So they kept it pretty much the same. Eventually, they upgraded it to the Iron Rattler, and now the Iron Rattler holds the record as one of the most intense roller coasters that goes inside a quarry.
Wow. Impressive.
Wooden roller coaster.
I
Too.
just would never guess that was an interest of yours. Is this like a recent
Engineering,
thing?
engineering.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I guess it's like a different type of engineering. But
Maybe this
even
is
like
something
knowing
I
the
wanted to
death
do.
maybe the knowing the death counts is a little like intense, but
Oh,
did you
don't
go
get me
on the
started
ones with
on
the
water
high death
slides.
counts?
Absolutely not. That's why I do research.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'm like, all right, are you like a thrill seeker? Like you're like
I
testing
am
it
a thrill
or
seeker, but not that kind of. I'm not
okay.
seeking that. But yeah, I also do the same thing with water slides because I also really love. I love roller coasters. I like slides. I like just adrenaline. I love the adrenaline and stuff. I want to go skydiving one day, but there's a water slide in New Braunfels near, like right next to San Antonio, and it is called the Master Blaster, and that actually held the record for one of the fastest. Don't laugh. This is
No,
all
I'm laughing at the
really important to
name.
me. This is
No,
my
the name.
segment.
It's more the name.
It's
Go ahead.
Master. I didn't even think about that.
No, go
But yeah,
ahead. Keep
the
going.
Master Blaster was actually one of the fastest water slides in the United States at one point. Eventually got dethroned. But fun fact about Schlitterbahn is the name of that water park. They filmed Spy Kids 3D in that park with Selena Gomez.
So are you one of those random facts people?
Yes, I'm very much the
Because I have one person in my life that's like, they just know so much random shit. I feel like I'm getting that.
Spy Kids. That's my childhood movie. Boom.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's not SpongeBob anymore.
No. Spy Kids 3D.
Fair
Game
enough.
over.
That's a good one. Actually, I saw a meme recently of like, we really thought this shit, it was fire, and it was like the worst crap.
It was fire. It still is. George Lopez, peak villain.
Any cosplays you want to do next?
You know that Marvel Rivals girl that just got announced today?
No. I don't.
Okay. She's one now.
Emma Frost.
Okay. Oh, Jordan knows because I just literally told her about it. So right now that one is like something that's up there. But I would love to do I guess right now that's like the only one I could think of off the top of my head.
Okay. The chef has to ask this question. What is your all-time favorite food?
Pizza.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This just reminded me of a story. Can I tell it?
No.
The
No.
Which one?
No, don't tell the story. It's my interview. Go ahead.
It's my interview too, I'm the host. Hello?
Go ahead. I guess.
Do you remember when we were in Atlanta for the speaking stuff? And I'll never forget, we had like went out and Manda got back and she sat on the ground with an entire cheese pizza and like she was just quiet. Like that was the most quiet I've ever heard her. She just sat there and just sucked this whole cheese pizza up. And I was just sitting like, where's Amanda? And I look behind me, she's just on the ground eating cheese pizza. I'll never forget that. And it was cold, was it not? Yeah. It was like not fresh pizza. And
I was
like,
really upset.
You're dedicated. You're dedicated.
The mood, yeah. I'm also lactose intolerant too.
That's dedication. Kudos.
Yeah, that's me. Would we? That was me. I'm pretty sure it was pepperoni, but I would still eat a cheese pizza.
Oh yeah, I don't remember exactly because I didn't get to have any because you ate it. Favorite cake flavor?
Chocolate.
Good answers.
But it has to be like moist. It can't be like dry. I don't eat dry cake. No.
Fair enough. What is your favorite dessert in general?
Okay, so this is very specific. Does a candy count?
Yeah, I think so, right?
The Bucky sour cherries. Like
is so fact. So Bucky sour cherries are good.
They are so good. There's like no other cherry sours. You can't go to 7-Eleven. You can't get the cherry sours here. They're like too.
They're like, so sugary.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And there was like a point that Bucky's did not have it in stock. And I actually looked like a lunatic. Every time they did have it in stock, I get like 6 bags. I still have like a bag in my pantry. I don't live next to a Bucky's. I'm like an hour away from a Bucky's. That's like
Have
dedication.
you ever driven to a Bucky's for the cherry sours?
Of course I have.
That is dedication.
What a silly question.
I guess so.
I'm Texan. I literally just drive up to my friend's house and she lives like 5 hours away.
I recently had somebody come down that's never been here before and I took them to Bucky's. It's like a Texas thing to do. You got to show them the ridiculousness. In
New Braunfels, they have the Holy Trinity. They have Bucky's, then they have Whataburger, and then they have an HEB Plus.
That really
Like
is the
right
Texas
next to
Holy Trinity.
it's right next to each other.
All right, I'm gonna set you up for a promo here. What's your favorite drink, Manda?
I had to stand by. That's crazy. Oh my god, yes, Ghost. My favorite energy drink right now is actually not this one actually. I do like this one, but my favorite one of all time is gonna be the Bubblicious Cotton Candy. They took it away.
I do like Ghost energy drinks. People get us confused with it because of you, so thanks. Shout out to you.
Shout out to me.
But the Ghost energy drinks are my favorite energy drink. They're very good.
Use code
Specifically,
Manda.
the sour cherry one. I think it's a cherry one, and then the Sour Patch Kid ones.
The sour cherry one that just came out.
Yeah.
Oh, that one is so good. You tried peaches yet?
No, I have not.
Gotta try that one. That
I'll
one
have to
is
try it.
top tier.
Awesome. Well,
Just need to merge. Yeah, they're not working with an esports org anymore. They dropped phase.
yeah, true. We shall see. All right, I'll take one more question, then we're gonna wrap up. So, if you would go on any game show, what would it be? This is a great question. I feel like you would thrive on a game show. So,
Oh my god. Okay, so I always wanted to go on Whiplash
oh my,
so
that's
badly. It's like every time I watched this, I was like, are they like, why are you doing that? Like, I would make better decisions, and I'm also a lot faster. And I'm look at this. Look at that.
Whiplash. You have some serious upper body. You need some serious upper body strength for Whiplash. That's for sure. I'm saying you got it because like that show is crazy. That show is crazy. Would you do Wipeout? That what I seen somebody talk about.
Wipeout. Isn't that Whiplash?
That's just.
Whiplash is the same game. What? I thought it was what?
Is it the same?
Are we talking about that obstacle course game?
Yeah, and then it's like the whole point is like to get funny moments of people.
Sorry, I meant Wipeout. Yeah, I meant
Okay.
Wipeout. But Ninja Warrior, I am not like
People
I
train their
actually
whole
can't.
lives for Ninja
Yeah.
Warrior.
There actually is a streamer that I know that actually like she calls herself like the Ninja Warrior because she actually does like all the Ninja Warrior training.
That's cool.
Uh
That's intense.
I gotta practice pull-ups, but I can't do any pull-ups.
Yeah.
And that's like I feel like it's the basic requirement for Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I know a few people too that have participated and they like full on training for a long time.
It's crazy.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for participating and being part of our audience today. This is obviously being recorded, so we're going to be putting it live for anybody that missed it. And then we'll putting out clips and things like that. But Manda, thank you, of course, for participating as well. I was really looking forward to talking to you. We have some special guests next week that I'm looking forward to as well. So if you guys do like this series and you want to come back, we do it at the same time every single week. And hopefully giving you guys cool insights and also getting to know some of the Ghost creators. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all.